products on our platform, around 50 million customers annually using Zalando. So today I would like to center my sharing with you around fashion and personalization, and highlight some challenging perspective of a personalized experience for our customer. So here is ChatGPT's definition of personalization. It's about tailoring the product or service or experience to meet customers' need based on collection of data and insight. The challenge here is to deeply understand the product, to understand the service and the experience you have, at the same time deeply understand the customer. Those are the challenges all of us face when we are trying to personalize experience. But at the same time, there is something extra important for fashion. To many of us, fashion is not just about utilitarian value for us. It is a self-expression. And these self-expressions are commonly inspired and driven by some of these elements in our daily life, such as driven by occasion. We're coming to Shop Talk today, and you need an outfit for Shop Talk. Also could be driven by trends, by an interesting product, or by a need of putting together an outfit. These inspirations come from everywhere. And it's also the major reason, if you go to Zalando, you go to your favorite e-commerce platform, those inspirations are the moment of need, the reason of coming to there today. And to understand that inspiration is very challenging for a current digital experience. It's possible that customer is going to give you a search term, for example, a maxi dress. But it's very hard to understand the background of that maxi dress is because of a Shop Talk in Barcelona. On the other hand, to tailor your experience for customers, for example, occasion, is also quite challenging. There's a very limited lever you could use. For example, a common way is about theming. So right now it's a summer. You could be having a theme of a beach party. Or if you're really good, you could have a theme for Euro Cup, very much about anticipated trends coming. But how would you be able to tailor your experience to anticipate Shop Talk in Barcelona? Customer is very diverse, and there are millions of them. Every individual have their own inspiration and their needs. And current digital experience, how can you prepare for these millions of individual needs on your digital experience? That's a long-lasting challenge for personalization. And here comes the Zalando Assistant. It is based on the recent breakthrough of generative AI, and it's solving a long-lasting customer problem. So here on Zalando Assistant, customers start with a conversation with us. They'll be describing their inspiration, why they came today at this moment to Zalando, and what's their need. There is a discussion that can happen. At the same time, Zalando Assistant, based on generative AI technology, can synthesize the knowledge of fashion, can synthesize the knowledge of the product, and generate an answer, having a true human-like conversation with our customers. And by this way, we could serve millions of customers as a personalized, hyper-personalized conversation about their this moment of needs. Thousands, millions of those conversations happening at the same time simultaneously. And that is something that was not possible before for an online e-commerce platform as Zalando. But it has been happening, those magic has been happening in the store. But this is something uniquely challenging for fashion because of inspiration, challenging for digital first experience such as Zalando, and now it's possible being solved by Gen AI. So last, just to wrap up, now Zalando Assistant has had a true conversation of over 500,000 customers. And these customer input are normally average 3 times as long as those search bar input. So it's natural language describing customer thoughts and customer's need. Also, these conversations average as 4 back and forth, reflecting a true dialogue with our customer. The topics also range from occasion to trends to outfit, quite diverse. Of course, just like any emerging technology, there's a lot of room for improvement for our assistant, but at the same time, we're already seeing some very interesting pattern and interaction with assistant, and we're seeing a high potential of it. That's it. So I look forward to discussing with all of you about more details about personalization, fashion, and Gen AI.
Thank you so much. And I think our next guest can relate to like what is that actually for? Is it a present? Is it what's the occasion of the purchase and what does the customer want? He is a VP of AI and innovation at Pandora, so you're probably all familiar with it. He's over 10 years in that field of machine learning, AI, and how to use it. So please welcome on stage Balthazar Osonic.
Thanks. All right, hi everyone. And very impressive. I think it's inspiring to be here today to see all the different use cases and applications of AI. My name is Balthazar. I head up AI at Pandora. And I have a disclaimer. I will not be showcasing any of those cool AI use cases. So now you're warned, perhaps a bit disappointed, but we'll get back to that in the discussion. What I'll be talking about is a bit different. And I'll get back to that. But first, a bit about ourselves. So, we give a voice to people's loves. That has been the mission from day one. And the reason why I bring that here today is because it ties neatly into what we're trying to achieve with personalization. So, the products we design and sell, they cater to people's memories and moments and interests, passions and places. We try to be something for everyone. And for us to be that in our customer experience, we need to understand what drives them. What drives them towards our brand, what drives them towards specific categories that we're selling. And so the journey of personalization at Pandora is very much tied to the actual DNA of our company. And a bit about our company. We're the world's largest jewelry company, and have activities in more than 100 countries. But it's not because of the numbers that I brought this slide, it's because of the fact that this is the foundation for our personalization. You can imagine the data that we capture before, during, or after those transactions, those sales of more than 100 million pieces of jewelry each year. That is our competitive advantage, and that is what we are activating in our customer experiences to drive more meaningful and relevant experiences. So, the mission, the objective across the company is to become the largest and most desirable brand in the accessible jewelry market. Now, if we break that down into its components, largest and most desirable. Well, largest, that's all about reach. Most desirable, that's all about creating mass appeal. And again, if that doesn't rhyme with personalization, I don't know what does. So it fits very well with running personalization in a company like Pandora. If we jump a bit further into what we're actually building, this is textbook personalization capabilities. So what you're seeing here is data and insights working as the input, flowing to a rule engine. In most optimal cases, one rule engine. We have multiple, but that's something that we're working on. And then that feeds your content that then informs your channels. This is straightforward, and I would say some of the more standard approaches to what we're driving. Now, in this flow, we have AI across the board. So when we capture the data, and when we process that data, when we lay it on top of each other and try to make sense of it, we of course use AI to understand consumer sentiment. We do different clustering analysis, cohorts, trying to figure out how they're moving, the propensity to do certain things, identifying the gifters versus other segments. We then push that to a rule engine with next best action logics that will help us understand what is the next best experience for this specific individual. And then that will inform what type of content, what type of message, what type of brand experience we want to give to this person across these channels. Now, we're still on this journey. So, as I said, we still have different engines and different data that we need to consolidate. But if you're looking into where we want to go, this is basically the components. So, I told you that I wasn't going to talk about any of those flashy AI use cases. I would love to, but I think there's something more important that we could bring to you today, and that's your foundations. Because if you want to truly scale personalization, truly scale the use of AI, you need to fix some of the groundwork first. So if we take these from the top, your customer experience. So you're running personalization, you unleash AI on all of it. Do you have a consolidated strategy, a vision, a roadmap for your customer experience across all channels, aligned across all teams, from content to media to all the different channels? You will need that because this program will travel across those teams, across the journey, and you do not want to distort your brand image or messaging. Second, your operating model. Are you set up from an organizational perspective to drive this? People will be belonging to existing channel teams. How do you raise the bar? And how do you work with the AI talent that you're bringing in? How do you apply that to these mechanisms? Data and AI, we know AI is only as good as the data foundation you feed to it. Do you have that in place? Have you secured the right processes around your data science lifecycle, your machine learning operations that ensure when you deploy this AI, it will be maintainable, explainable, and drive value? And then lastly, technology. There's so much technology out there and in the world. I was around at the inception of the MarTech Lumascape 10, 11 years ago, where we counted 150 marketing technologies. Today, there's more than 10,000. Are you aware of what you already have? Are you utilizing those assets to the fullest? Do you know when to build or buy to enable your personalization journey? Those are some of the fundamental questions that you want to be able to answer before you can scale from all the pilots and POCs. And I think that was my message. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And I think also that you said something quite important, and we come to that later. It's also like, what is your strategy? How do you want to go after it? And when you look here at the podium, you might realize there's a digital pure player. You are in omni-channel premium segment, and the next guest will be actually someone from the luxury segment and omni-channel, and probably with quite a different strategy. So while you listen to her, you might also think about what is actually my or our strategy, where should we play, what should we do, what should we not do. So that's always quite an interesting one. Please welcome on stage Paloma Juncos. She is a global head of data and e-commerce at Pandora. Sorry, now I'm getting look, see, there are too many people, I'm getting confused. Thank you
for having me. Hello everybody. First of all, I'm going to, now that he said Pandora, I want just to say Loewe. And you can go to YouTube and watch the video on how to pronounce Loewe. That this is one of the key marketing campaigns that we have this year with Outreach Atlanta. So here, Loewe is a Spanish luxury brand, more than 150 years old. Our main values are craftsmanship, leather, playfulness, bold energy. Why I am saying this? Because, where's the pointer? No, thanks. 3 years ago, when I went to the team and I said, guys, I think we need to do personalization. It sounds like this is not for Loewe. How technology can improve or can do better than our merchandisers, how they can do better than the curation that we do about the content, how technology can know better a customer than our sales advisors. That's not possible. So we started building blocks in the team. We started with a small corner on the website, small when it's an empty card, when there are no results in the search, and then we continue testing and looking, showing the results. And then we continue on the menu, then the BDP, then the BLP, then the newsletter. Never the homepage. That's the crown jewel, and that's untouchable because it's where you get inspired of the brand and where you really discover the brand. But we continue, and now we're even doing clienteling one-to-one interactions. But we have to keep the brand identity. For Loewe, as a luxury brand, the brand image and the values are even more important than the commercial and transactional part. To elevate the brand is a key thing. So we need to make sure that when you are doing personalization, the customer doesn't talk to 3 different brands if they are in different parts, and that we don't work in silos. So we have a unified and aligned strategy when we do personalization, and of course with business rules, and to keep that brand identity. And there is also a key thing about the human touch. It's not doing tech for tech. It's using technology to create meaningful interactions with your customer, to feel that unique experience in the interactions. And also the technology can help the assistant to enrich the conversation with that customer. There is no customer that wants to hear like, that looks good on you. No, with the technology you can enrich, you can know more about that customer, and you can personalize with this human touch that is always a key part of the experience. We have some use cases in Loewe. We personalize on the website, as I mentioned. We are now testing some algorithms about visual recognition to make more efficient some processes, and also on the newsletter. In luxury and in Loewe in particular, there are many moments that we have stock tensions. The demand is higher than the offer. So you create frustration to the client. How can you personalize, and if you know that the product will never come back in stock, how you can personalize and avoid that frustration to the customer, recommending him or giving them another product that you think it fits for him. And we also do clienteling actions. Here, there are some examples. We have different tiers of customers, and the more than the customers move up the tiers, the more we know about them, but the more unique and high elevated experience they expect from you. So we use signals. We use signals from technology, from the first purchase that they did, if they bought a ready-to-wear piece, or if they bought a fashion show piece, if they enter with a capsule collection, like On Running for Loewe that we just launched, or which channel they prefer, we can customize the channel. If they are in Japan, maybe they prefer Line. If they are in Europe, they prefer WhatsApp. But you can enrich that with these signals and the technology. But we have also challenges. Here I mentioned 2, we have more, but these are 2 key challenges. And one is the filter bubble. And this is not only, this doesn't apply only to Loewe, this applies to our life, our daily life. We can be in a very small filter bubble, we can be in a wider, but at the end, we want to see more than what we only see on our newsfeed, or challenge our thoughts many times, because sometimes we only see people like us. And that applies also to retail. How we can keep this unexpected value that Loewe is very well known, how we can continue showing the full offer, and not only offering you what you are willing to buy, or what you are willing to like. So this is a challenge, and how we can enrich that with showing more offer. And we also have a challenge about data. It's true that in luxury and in Loewe, the data quality is very good. The engagement with the customer is usually very good, but the volumes are not so high. So how we can get this more and more data on the website for prospects? We have one-timers that they come once in a lifetime. How can I get and enrich my data? We don't offer discounts. We don't do loyalty points, so there is a challenge for us, but there is a value proposition. I think that most of us would be willing to share the data if they have something in return. if they really feel that they will get a benefit. So this is the value proposition that we need to offer our customers in terms of free access to some products, pre-launches, special events, experiences that money cannot buy, or even product launches or Christmas events that we know in our business. So this is where we are now, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Paloma, thank you so much. Very insightful indeed. I was wondering about the other tool, maybe start with you, Tian, because you mentioned kind of like where you started the journey. I think that's interesting, right? And then how you progressed. And I assume with Zalando, I mean, there was probably a start, and you joined, roughly 2 years ago. There was probably a start even before, and then you started. So second starting point. Maybe you can talk a little bit like how that starting point was, and the biggest challenges, and how you developed from there.
So maybe just very quickly highlight a couple of things. First, I mentioned that Zalando is a digital-first e-commerce company, right? So there are unique challenges for a digital-first company. For example, we will be serving many customers, and then in the old world, personalization is about understand the customer's history and then guess. So guess what customer would want, guess why they're coming to us. So even that guess in the traditional way is a big effort. And then most of the digital-first company would be double down on this kind of effort. Tailor your website better for the current trends, for your audience base, as well as deeply understand your customers and then understand who they are, anticipate and recommend. So that's has been the effort very early on with Zalando. What changed recently? I joined Zalando about 2.5 years ago. I think what changed is that first, if you think about the inception of Zalando, at that time, even personalization, we probably all remember that time, personalization is debatable to be magical or spooky. And then nowadays, personalization is almost a why can't you personalize for me because I visit you so often. That's a consumer, that's a user's expectation. So what is the next level of personalization is the question. Another thing changed is the breakthrough of generative AI. In conversation, or the dream of conversation, the attempt of conversation has been always there. There are other chatbots we developed as well as in the movies, right? So all the dream of having a human level conversation. What changed recently is the possibility, the intelligence going into this generative AI. A true human-like conversation is becoming possible. And that did the magic, right? Instead of this rigid answer of a customer's question, now it's generative. It really has the world knowledge. It has the knowledge of your service, your product, your experience, and it understands the human in a human way. So I think that's what changed recently. And then what I think me and my team think as the challenge is, how can we take this technology and change them, make them into customer experience, solving some of these long-lasting problems. So we're operating in emerging technology. There are a lot of uncertainty. We are dealing with technology that is magical but not perfect. So those are the challenges of nowadays.
And Balthasar, I mean, when you think back also, or if you would need to advise someone how to start, would you say, look, you need to start, I don't know what you call with the foundations or with the data? Would you look and say, it's rather one use case that you pick and play around? Or what would your advice to actually get started?
You should start with your customers and the customer experience that you want to drive, right? Otherwise you'll get distracted from all the nice machinery and tech and what have you. So be clear on your ambitions on that level and then work backwards. What would it take to enable that type of customer experience? And that's where you bring in all your specialists, do the feasibility checks. We have the technology. What's the current state of our first party data? Can we activate it? And then you identify some specific use cases and prove value in them. And of course you pick the ones with the most impact, so you can create some noise and get a followership. But that's yeah, outside in for sure.
And Paloma, to you again, when you look back, what has really changed? And I would be interested also, how difficult was it to bring that, mindset or make the change to the organization?
Yeah, it was, as I mentioned, it was quite a challenge at the beginning. I think that, but also people, when they see results, you test, and you see that there is an improvement.
Yeah.
And you see also the efficiency in your resources. Everybody likes that. At the beginning, there is like no way, but you need to show. It's true that we have been doing very little by little. We haven't gone 100%, and we will never go 100%. But it comes with testing results, testing, and an alignment with also business rules. There are some paths that you don't want to go. There are some curation still sometimes. So little by little you can achieve.
So that basically means, right, you say like there are areas that we don't want. I saw in the presentation you mentioned you use a human touch. Is that one of the core elements for, of your strategy and also of your brand identity to say, we want to keep that?
Yes, and especially the experience in the store is so key for us, that you go to the store, that you feel, our stores are called casa Loewe. You need to feel, and the structure of the store many times is like a casa. So you need to feel at home when you are in the store, and you really, when you go to the store and the sales assistant is seeing you, she knows who you are, your mood, what you're looking for. Probably it's not the latest collection, it's a gift for your wife in Christmas. So that human touch and that interactions. There are some regions that clients go to the store to have a conversation. And maybe at that day they don't buy. They have a conversation with the sales assistant. So there is a human touch that is really, really important.
Tian, this must be completely different on your end, right? I assume, 1 million products or something.
Yeah.
Thousands of brands. You have, and no physical stores. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I was thinking about it when Paloma was talking about it. Like the difference for us is like we have 6,000 brands. We need to understand, and we have 1 million products. We need to understand, and we need to have a conversation with millions of customers at the same time. And how can we bring the experience you described so powerful in store to serve our customer online? So I think that has been why AI is, or AI machine learning data is a must-have for a digital-first experience. And this amount of a product is the benefit of a platform for our customers.
Right. And you're somewhere, also omni-channel, but also premium products, in a similar field. You mentioned something when we talked before, which I thought was quite interesting. When you started, you had already a lot of data in different systems. You had loyalty programs and so on. How helpful was that actually as a starting point to, and could you leverage it?
Oh, it was a mess, to be honest. I think the way that we've grown, which is a bit different than the pure plays, is that we have a lot of legacy with us, right? And we need to clean that up and build some consolidated infrastructures to keep the data and so forth. At the same time, proving value of what it is that we're trying to deliver on. So that has been a major effort, a significant effort, and I think also part of the change exercise, right? Being able to convince stakeholders that for us to bring this next level customer experience, we need to invest in some for many boring back-end stuff, but that will provide you with the foundation for years to come, and that's what we're now reaping the benefits from.
Excellent. when we talk about AI, there's always one component that I feel gets neglected. That's the question: how do I find my data scientists? How do I find the people? And I don't know, like people here in the room have had maybe the same experience that it's sometimes tricky. How is it for you? How do you attract actually talent? How do you get them in? And also, and that's the second part of the question, how do you convince in the organization that that is needed? Because there's a different breed of people or talent, so to say. And maybe Paloma, you...
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge because there has been a big transformation in the last years. Also, business working with IT, the data squads. I mean, these changes has been a big transformation. It's true that it's not so easy to find the talent. Also, to work with the luxury industry, I know in Spain also is a challenge. But to organize and everybody with the same objective and very result, how you impact the business, how you even go to the sales assistant that probably she doesn't know the data scientist that is doing any modeling, but she knows the results that she's getting when you are using that in the store. You see that impact and really people feel engaged with the project and they want to do more and to impact more areas in the business.
And may I ask, how big is your team today? I mean, how many people are working on that by now?
No, it's very, very, very small in terms of data scientists. We have the 3 data scientists, but it's true that we work very closely with LVMH. That there is a key objective in LVMH to improve all the data capabilities in their companies. So we work closely with them.
I would like to mention maybe 2 things about talent as well. I think one thing is like the great talent for one company may not be the great talent for another company, right? So some of these talents are specialized on cutting edge technologies, but then sometimes we need to go back to the foundation to actually solidify the foundation, and not everybody would be inspired to do that, which is super impactful for the company. On the other hand, if you're really tackling some very, very tough scientific topics, you do need somebody with a deep knowledge of technical domains. So the same talent, good for one company, may not be good for another. Another thing is with technology advancement, some of these talents are not even there. So if you remember very early on, about 1.5 years ago, Gen AI, conversational AI just becomes popular. The job family of prompt engineering was pointed at that time. And that time, not many people know how to do prompt engineering. So for talents, there's another important perspective, is the capability to learn. Because technology is accelerating on acceleration, and there's always going to be something new. And those talents that can learn as fast as possible of this new technology are very, very precious, because they are the ones that can help us adapt.
I think it's a really good point on that the need for talent can be different, right? Also across your maturity stages. So when we kicked off, we also brought in a very specialized skilled team of data scientists and ML engineers. But the problem was not, that wasn't what we were going to solve. We needed to do data engineering. We needed to do a lot of other stuff. So actually, those people left. We killed them by presenting them with tasks that wasn't interesting. And so I think that is about being really knowledgeable about what you need right now, and in 6 months, 12 months, and going forward to find the right talent for the right moment in your journey. That's really key, otherwise you won't be an attractive place to work.
Yeah, I like that, the idea of having a roadmap, essentially, to say like what are the different stages, where do I want to tackle, and what is the talent that I need.
And also one thing that for us worked very well is the data squad is working IT and business together, not in silos. I mean, BI to understand very well the business needs, the business impacts. From the very beginning in the technology and the tools to the sales assistant to understand the full flow, that impacts a lot in the way that you launch the projects and you get the data infrastructure.
And how do you do it to incorporate? Do they sit together? Do they, you know, I mean, how do...
That's super important. Looks like nothing but sit together, talk to each other very, yeah. They really work together as a unique team.
Right.
And that works very well for us. And it's very recent. We haven't worked that way. We were IT one way, business the other way, always fighting. So now it's in a different way and it's working very well for us.
We actually, we recently had a hackathon on Gen AI, and it was fun. 90 people coming together and exploring the capabilities. One of the teams built a tool to shorten the distance between business and the tech teams, so that if you can translate and make it easier to understand, if person A says this is what they mean to person B. It's a clever way of using Gen AI.
And sometimes it's like to bring people together. It's as simple as whose daily stand-up you're going to, right? So is it all your functional team and all the scientists daily stand-up, or your project team that topics stand-up? It's very, very nuanced. It's very real, but it actually changed the dynamic drastically. Who you talk to every day. Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned like it's a handful plus, let's say, the central team of LVMH. But you know, in your case, like, what's the size of the team that we need to imagine that is working on it?
So in my case, by the way, industry standard, we have a small team, but my team is close to 200 people.
No.
And industry standard is a small team. So my team, just for background, my team is responsible most of the customer-facing digital experience that based on data, AI, machine learning. So that include personalization, recommendation, search, browse, Zalando Assistant, the conversational AI. We also have the Zalando research that specializes on computer vision, 3D modeling, as well as on-site journey understanding, advanced analytics. So in a sense, it's a big responsibility, and then for e-commerce, it's very critical responsibilities, right? The discovery is the foundation of customer finding anything on Zalando. That's why, like industry standard, our team is relatively small, but it is 200 people, almost.
Perhaps we could do a team swap.
At some point, yeah.
Just a week.
You want to have the 200?
That would be nice. See what
We can do a joint hackathon.
Yeah.
Knock out, make 2 weeks, and knock out some of these shared problems.
That's true.
I was wondering, and I like that. Let's follow up on the joint hackathon. You know, it feels like from the presentation you all have also your challenges when it comes to personalization. I mean, you mentioned, you know, we have so many products and brands. If someone comes to us, how do I even know what the person is looking for? You mentioned the gifting part, right? So how to know what, you know, is that at the moment a gift, and is that then actually the end customer, or is it just the purchase customers? Yeah, and I think probably for you it's a similar situation. Plus, I think also in the omni-channel, you always have the question, how do I actually use the insights that I have from the digital journey and identify the person in store? So I'm wondering, like, how you overcome that, and maybe we start here with you, like, you know, if someone new comes, how do I actually use AI to identify that person, like quickly, you know, bring the right content in front of them?
So I think there's the traditional way, and then there's a new door that has been opened, right? So the traditional way, in traditional still, it's a very challenging experience to develop. Is you get to know the customer, their history, their past behavior, so you have some deep understanding. I mean, you can recommend accordingly. At the same time, you could ingest the in-session signal, such as like they browsed this, they clicked on that, so you can guess their intent. Then with a recommendation, with the ranking of your page, put the most attractive one on the top, as well as search. So search is in the traditional experience as close as having a customer input, right? The traditional search is mostly based on keywords. So customer even master how to find the keyword on Google, so they can really search well on the e-commerce website. So that's overall, like, you understand their history, you leverage the in-session signal, they click on different things that you guess what they want, and then you do a search really well based on the keywords they provide you. And of course, there's now the new way you can have a conversation, just like in store, and customer can tell you what they want. They can give you all the nuances of their requirement, and then if you give them some product, they can give you feedback on spot as well. So I like the length of the skirt, I don't like the color, and then the assistant can adjust accordingly. So that's like the combination of the traditional way as well as the new door that has been opened for us.
And do you see an impact of, let's say, the new way? So in any KPI in terms of, I don't know, higher click-through or duration, like any of those KPIs, and which one is there one that particularly stands out for you?
I think it's the engagement, and then
Yeah.
just for background, we do not see Zalando Assistant as a conversion tool. We serve customer needs, and especially those needs that go beyond the traditional experience. You could have a fashion discussion with a Zalando Assistant, and without any product being pushed to you, right? So you could ask about, my shoes too tight, how should I do with it? Instead of saying maybe you should buy a new pair of shoes, we say how to stretch the shoes. So in a way that the measurement there is really about engagement and about the diversity of customer, the way they interact with us. As I also mentioned, the length of the conversation, are they really talking to us? At the same time, when we also see the conversion, when it is appropriate in the conversation, it's also good.
Yeah. I mean, Paloma, is it for you? I mean, are you also looking at engagement? Is that the core focus for you, or?
Yeah, it depends a lot on the use case that we are tackling. I mean, website, for example, we do AI personalization in different ways. We look at engagement, click-through, and at the end, transaction, of course. We also want to sell. So in the website, it's much more short and medium term. But there are also use cases that we do in terms of BIC detection, that we look more in the long term, at least to become a BIC, how I can enrich your experience and personalize, and that's even more like a 12 months time that we are looking at. So the KPIs are how you upgrade your tiers. So depending on the platform that you are, the channel, we measure in a different way.
We're coming a little bit to an end here, and I wonder, one thing which is a little bit like looking into the future, and I would be curious to hear, where do you see, your company and the use of AI in a couple of years, years from now, in terms of like what's possible, but also what you want to achieve. Like, what is your strategy in that sense? Maybe Bartolomé, you can start.
Yeah, so basically the ambition is to drive personalization across all customer journey touchpoints, right? And I think that there will be AI in all of that in one way or the other. I think what Gen AI gives us is an opportunity to explore what is language, what is image, what is all that is connected to creative and content, because that is a big part of your brand and what you're trying to sell. So I think further exploration of that for sure. And then we'll also get more clever on the old school predictive analytics with more data coming in. So I think that's where it is.
Thank you very much. I think time is up actually. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for spending time here on the podium, and see you next year. Thanks.
Thank you.